We have all of your Tesla stock and broad market news, and I think that's the big story of the day today. The markets are falling pretty much in free fall throughout the entire day. You're definitely seeing big money fearful, buying things such as gold and bonds, selling off your riskier assets, thus sending Tesla stock down about 3%. We're approaching a very critical technical level on Tesla. I want to get into that. If things got bad, where's Tesla stock going from here? And ultimately, the things that you need to be watching for if you are an investor in our markets and in Tesla stock. We have all of your Tesla stock and broad market news here in this video to get you guys up to date and up to speed. Let's get into it. Hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if you own a single share of Tesla or more, as well as hit that notification bell if you guys would like to stay up to date and notified every time a new video is released. So I think we need to start this off with what's going on in the broader markets today. Tesla stock, sure, it's down 3%. There is no specific bad news coming out for Tesla, as I talk about all of the time. The biggest things that end up moving Tesla stock downwards is broader market weakness, and you're seeing a lot of it today. TLT is up 1.60%. This means your 30-year treasury yields are down about 9 basis points today, and your 10-year treasury yields are down about 8 basis points today. But we actually got pretty recessionary, inflationary data, if you will, today. At 10 o'clock in the morning, the Michigan Consumer Sentiment Survey came out at 63. You were expecting 67.2. So that was a big miss. Consumers are just not feeling that confident. The consumer sentiment is still at very low levels. But what is even more alarming is the 5-year inflation expectations came in at 3%. Last month, they were 2.8%. And for this month, we were expecting 2.7%. So 5-year inflation expectations rocketed higher, as well as your 1-year inflation expectations. You were expecting 3.1%. 1-year inflation expectations came out at 3.8%. The Michigan Consumer Sentiment Survey is probably the most respected survey out there because they incorporate a wide varying range of participants, thousands of individuals each and every single month. So the markets pay attention to this. As you can see from the trading economic calendar, it's highlighted in red as a major volatility catalyst, much the same way as CPI, PPI, the Fed minutes, and other catalysts that you guys know about. So this is not good. In theory, this should have caused bond yields to go higher. If consumers expect higher inflation, you likely see higher inflation over the next 1 to 5 years. That causes the Fed to be higher for longer, or maybe higher forever, and maybe even have to raise rates many more times. But as I said, treasury yields actually fell today. From my understanding, there's 2 things that are causing this. The second thing, I don't think this is as important, but it's still very important. Quote, the war in Ukraine, compounded by last week's actions on Israel, may have far-reaching impacts on energy and food markets, global trade, and geopolitical relationships, Jamie Dimon said, the longtime CEO of JP Morgan. This may be the most dangerous time the world has seen in decades. While we hope for the best, we prepare the firm for a broad range of outcomes. Let me just tell it to you guys straight. Who are the most connected individuals in the world? Who are they? Or at least based in here in the US. I would argue probably Biden, or at least the council of Biden. That's probably number 1. Elon could be number 2, just because he knows everyone. He pretty much knows everyone. And number 3, it's going to be Jamie Dimon, the CEO, longtime CEO of the largest bank in the world. If Dookie is going to hit the fan, Jamie Dimon needs to know about it. And he's sending a pretty stark warning or message at the very least to the markets. But the single biggest thing that is pushing treasury yields down, that is causing investors to buy safety assets, is this. The UN says Israel wants 1.1 million people in Gaza to move south in the next 24 hours. This came out 11 hours ago. And Israel literally dropped letters for the people in Gaza. Very much reminiscent of like a World War II situation. So what's about to happen within the next 12 hours or so is Israel is going to make an incursion, make an invasion, whatever you want to call it, into Gaza. Question is, and this is why people are buying safety assets, what's the response look like from other Arabic nations? What's the response look like from Iran? Bombing each other, that's one thing. But actually destroying Hamas is Iran's, buddies. That's a different. This could be a we're going to save our people moment for Iran. Hopefully not. Iran, F around and find out, I guess, if you want. It's not advantageous for the world, and it's really not advantageous for anyone, especially the U.S. About 30% of Iran's or the world's oil flows through the Strait of Iran. So if we get a conflict there and that oil seizes up, that could raise the price of a gallon of gas $7, $8, $9, $10, $15. All bets are off the table at that point. What would that do to the economy? You would see basically everything stop overnight. That's the potential impact that you could actually see. That's why this conflict has a little bit more implications for the markets and for the economy than just some conflict somewhere, because it does have a very real possible effect on energy. This is why stocks are down today. TLT is up 1.64%. But what is even more alarming than that is gold. So if you look at GLD just gapped higher, up 3.28% on the day. GLD does not move like that. This was the banking crisis. GLD went from about 168 to a high of 191. During this whole time, did you not see a 3% day on gold? The highest day that you've seen on gold was 2.29%. You're 1% higher than that. And back in March was a time in which you've seen the largest bank failures we have ever seen. I know 2008, you've seen big bank failures as well, but back in March was something that was totally colossal on a dollar basis. And you can make the argument that dollars are worth less now than they were then. I don't want to get into the politics of that, but oil is up 4.5% today. Gold is up 3.3%. This is telling you something. At the same time, investors are selling stocks and they are buying bonds. Now again, before this sounds too doom and gloomy, I want you guys to remember what I say all the time. The markets can handle bad news. We cannot handle uncertainty. That's why the markets have been green basically every day of this Israeli conflict so far. It didn't look like anyone else was getting involved. Sure, it was bad news. Nobody likes to see the images that are coming out. Nobody likes to see, killings on both sides, things of that nature, obviously. But nothing was getting worse. The uncertainty was going down, not going up. Today, the uncertainty is going up. And over this weekend, that's where things really start to ramp up. So if you don't have any hedges on your portfolio, if you're concerned at all that this could broaden out to a bigger conflict, then you definitely want to have some protection on your portfolio. But I wouldn't blame you if you just have a lot of cash and you are ready to buy the dip, because it looks like we're probably going to get a bigger dip than what we've seen so far. Now, before we go ahead and take a look at the technicals on Tesla, we do have about a half an hour or so left of the trading day. The NASDAQ is down 1.4% at the time of recording this video. You have broken under the 50 and the 100-day moving averages today. If you close under that, then that's probably a pretty good sign that you make your way back down to this downtrending trend line. And that's going to put you somewhere in the 350 range. That would still be downside from here of roughly 4.5% or so, give or take. If things were to get really bad, then you're going to find yourself back here, basically at the same point you were in August of 2022, around 332. That's where I would expect things to really stop out, give or take, as long as company earnings are okay for big tech, things of that nature, as long as we don't get into a full-fledged war with like Iran and other countries in that area. If that were to happen, that's your ultimate worst case scenario, and the markets could easily find themselves back at new all-time lows, or at least recent lows. You could definitely find yourself back here, to the October 2022 lows. That's how significant this could be, and that's why we cover it every day here on this channel and developments in this situation. With that being said, same is true for Tesla. Unfortunately, Tesla doesn't trade very rationally. Tesla trades mostly based off of what happens in the broader markets. If you get good news or bad news, the move can be amplified. But most of the time, Tesla just does a multiple of what the broader markets do. Nasdaq's down about 1.5%, Tesla's down 3%. Nasdaq's up 1.5%, Tesla's up 3% or more. That's just how these things tend to go. So if we think the markets possibly could go back to October lows, well, that could mean Tesla stock could be in the neighborhood of 150, 160 in that worst, possible outcome. Odds are, nobody wants to get involved with the U.S. Nobody wants an armed conflict. That's not really advantageous for anyone involved. So odds are that does not happen. Okay, I want to be very clear. That is a low probability. That's just not a good choice. It's a low probability. Let's hope that does not happen. If anything kind of just strikes our exchange back and forth, that's still going to cause some fear. That's still going to cause downside in our markets. At least expect Tesla to fall to about 200. That's what I would expect in that scenario. Markets, would fall quite a bit just on the escalation of, armed conflict with other nations and what possible situations could arise from that. Now, if you're looking at Tesla just by itself, Tesla, unlike the NASDAQ today, bounced off of its 50 and 100-day moving averages. Bounced off of them. You're still trading pretty close to them. Your 50 and your 100-day moving averages are sitting right at about $250 per share. Tesla stock's currently $251.39 per share. So it's not like we're way above them, but we did bounce at them today. That's basically the lows that we seen right there at that purple line, that 50-day moving average. So that is a great sign. And I want to be very clear, Tesla continues to hold up better than the broader markets. And I do expect positive earnings from Tesla. I do expect the Cybertruck delivery event, at least the announcement, and I think that's really what is going to drive Tesla stock higher or lower from here. If you're betting on Tesla right now, if you're long or if you're undecided whether you should buy more right now, I like to say buy some now, buy some later, keep some capital on the side. That's the best way to plan this, especially around Tesla's earnings. There's a chance Tesla falls, but I think any bad news as far as the numbers is already baked into Tesla stock. That's just the fact of the matter. Even Morgan Stanley says the thing that's really going to move Tesla and Tesla stock is forward-looking statements. It's all about the guidance. What do they think delivery, numbers are going to be for the Cybertruck for this quarter, maybe next year? Do we get an update for that? Do we hear anything about the Cybertruck? Your worst possible outcome on earnings is if you just don't hear anything about the Cybertruck. That would probably cause Tesla stock to fall at least 5%. But other than that, if we just get an announcement with the delivery date, I think that's good news. And I think that sends Tesla into the 300s. As long as, big caveat, the markets don't fall because of this Israel conflict. That's always a possibility. That's why I like to pay attention to what big money is doing. And big money today is buying bonds, buying gold, buying oil, very much your safety-like trades. So that does not look good. Let's now get into all of your Tesla stock news, your option activity that you need to know as well. Luxembourg reported 182 Tesla sales and 4.7% market share for September. Tesla was the 7th best-selling brand. Year to date, this is 125% over the same period last year. And year to date, we're seeing 167% growth compared to last year's total delivery number. Singapore also reported 54 Tesla sales and 2.2% market share for September. Year to date, meaning so far in 2023, you're seeing 73% higher delivery numbers than what you've seen for all of 2022. Tesla said on Thursday it will offer a pay raise to workers at Giga Berlin. Tesla said it will inform staff in November of the level of the pay raise, adding it raised wages by 6% last year. And that's just the simple fact of the matter. If Tesla wants to retain talent, they will need to make some sacrifice and pay their workers more. That is a good thing. Tesla is in a position to be able to do this for their employees. Ford and GM, Stellantis have so much catching up to do for the innovation of the future, meaning EVs, leaving ICE vehicles to the side. They can't afford to spend all of this money giving out raises. A matter of fact, Ford says they have reached their limit of economic proposals and that the Kentucky truck plant strike could push, quote, the fragile supply chain towards collapse. The company added upwards of 4,600 workers could be laid off at other factories. Meanwhile, Ford is dealing with a crisis. Tesla has just launched a Cyber Beer and a Cyber Stain limited edition set in the US for $150. Quote, the Tesla Cyber Beer and Cyber Stain limited edition set celebrates the angular exoskeleton of the Cybertruck. Includes 2 bottles of Tesla Cyber Beer, a Hell's Lager with European Noble Hop Saz and Hallertau Mittelfroth. App-based rideshare service Dash has launched in Tampa Bay. It features yellow Model Y vehicles offering rides exclusively in downtown Tampa starting Thursday afternoon. Kia has unveiled its EV design vision for the future. The company announced it plans to have annual sales of 1 million EVs by 2026 and push that to 1.6 million by the end of 2030. Did you guys see this article titled Tesla's Dirty Little Secret on California's I-5? Well, they say hidden in plain sight across the way from the Harris Ranch Supercharger's main stations behind a Shell station is a small diesel plant that has helped power Tesla's footprint. In May of 2015, this was investigated by journalist Edward Niedermeyer. Come to find out, they got their information from a Tesla Q member. Not so shocking that it was wrong. This is according to Sawyer Merritt. It's hard to tell if he's being sarcastic here, but it wouldn't surprise me if they did in fact get their information from a Tesla Q owner. Tesla has also released a Cyber opener in the US for $50. Quote, inspired by the Cybertruck, the Tesla Cyber opener is crafted from 316 liters stainless steel, mirroring the angular form and strength of the body of the Cybertruck, sand polished with honed edges for extra smooth finish. And update, it's out of stock. Within 5 hours, this thing was sold out. If you take a look at this article written from the street 5 hours ago, it says Elon Musk Tesla just got into a weird new business. And they go on to talk about the beer, this $150 package. Really, I don't think you're buying the beer. I think you're more so buying the cup and as a real collector's item of Tesla. But they go on to say that in 2020, Tesla launched a limited edition tequila, complete with a bottle shaped like a lightning bolt and a $250 price tag. In March, Tesla launched its signature Giga Beer, another Cybertruck-inspired brew that retailed for around $30 a bottle. Tesla sold a $50 Cyber Whistle in 2021. A Tesla mic, a microphone that would allow Tesla drivers to perform karaoke on the grand stage of their EV. And now the Cyber Beer, among others. These products they sell. Back to Ford. Ford says 13 plants impacted by the Kentucky truck walkout. As Sawyer Merritt says, things are about to get even uglier. Tesla will urge a Delaware judge on Friday to reject $230 million in legal fees requested by a team of shareholder attorneys who won a settlement in a dispute over director pay. The maker of electric vehicles called the fee request an unwarranted windfall that works out to an hourly rate of $10,690, one of the highest fee requests ever in Delaware's Court of Chancery, a key venue for shareholder lawsuits. The company wants Kathleen McCormick, chief judge on the court, to approve a fee of no more than $64 million. They also point out that Elon Musk's $56 billion in compensation as Tesla's chief executive was not part of this lawsuit. It is being challenged separately. This is what really infuriates me. Elon has created so much value for other shareholders. That is why he has made so much money. Elon basically had YOLO options and had to work to really create Tesla as a brand, as a product, as an image, to make those options even worth anything. If it was a performance-based compensation, people need to really get over themselves. Tesla Singapore's X account says the upgraded Model 3 is now available to order in Singapore. As far as Tesla's option activity today, you have seen 539 orders totaling $245.3 million with a positive order value of 68%. Pretty dang positive considering Tesla's stock is down about 3%. And again, why are these options so positive? I think people want to be bullish on Tesla. I think there's a real reason to be bullish on Tesla heading into Tesla's earnings. I do also think there is a real risk out there that stocks could fall big time. We're talking 10, 20, possibly 30% on the ultimate worst case scenario. If this conflict in Israel does escalate, the US is involved, and the flow of oil is cut off. That is a potential problem. That is no good. So what's happening is algorithms are selling off Tesla stock. You're getting some hedging for downside, but you're just not really seeing a lot of bears, if you will, coming out and attacking Tesla. It's not as bearish as you would think, given Tesla is down about 3% today. Let me know what you think about all of this information down below in the comment section. If you made it to the end of this video, you might as well hit that like button for free 99 and subscribe to the channel to stay up to date with all of this information and future videos. Hopefully this one really you learned something, especially about the flow of money and how big money is positioning bearish today. They're buying safety assets like the bonds, when in all reality, we got inflationary data today. That should not be happening. The only reason that's happening is people are fearful. People are buying gold in just numbers you have not seen in a very long time. Again, that's because people are fearful. Hopefully, at the very minimum, you learn that. That's it for this video. My name is Michael Tyler. If you guys would like to come join us, down below in the description of this video is the trading community. Come hedge out your portfolios. Come be ready for any situation the markets throw at you, whether the markets are bullish, whether they are bearish, trading sideways. It does not matter. You can come, learn something, get involved. I do send out trades every time I make them in real time. If there is big news that happens, we keep you guys up to speed and informed, and hopefully just help you be in the best position possible to capitalize on any situation that is happening in the markets. So, thank you for watching. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you in the next one.